All right, friends, here I am again with the rest of the book. Yes, I'm wearing the same clothes because I just finished the first part and now I'm finishing the second part. So I hope you remembered a couple things that we learned yesterday. We learned about what they ate. We learned about like their fire pits and some more gods and goddesses. So let's keep reading. Your family never used napkins. Instead, they wiped their hands on bread that was later given to dogs as meals. That's so strange. It's so much different than how we do. We have napkins and paper towel. There was no sugar in ancient Greece. Instead, you kept and took care of a beehive in the back of the house. This way, you would always have honey for dessert. Demeter was the goddess of corn, grain, and the harvest. We've talked about crops. It's kind of the same thing. It was believed she made the crops grow, and you would always offer the first loaf of bread made from the harvest to her. She was also called Mother Earth or Mother Nature. You've heard that before. This is a long page. Your father was head of the house, and he made all the rules. Your mother did not have much to say and had to listen to him just like you. Sometimes that's not really how things work nowadays, because Dave and I were married, but we do everything kind of equal. We work together and we're a team. It's not just the dad does all the rules. Now, that could be in some houses still, but for me, it's kind of equal. If he was not rich, he might be a worker in a shop in the city. He would be called a thetis and would not be considered important. He might work at a forge and make weapons. He could be a craftsman who molded pottery from clay. He would create beautiful jugs and plates that were exported all over the world. He could be a fisherman or a farmer who sold what he caught or grew to the people who lived in the city. He might also be a soldier or a city official. If you found your home in Sparta, your father lived in barracks with other soldiers and only came home to visit your mom. If you were a boy, you went to live in a dormitory with other boys as soon as you turned 7 years old. You stayed in the army until you were the age of 60. Your sister stayed in a dormitory with girls, learning how to wrestle and fight too. Remember, this is Sparta. We talked about the difference. Your sole job was to be brave, strong, and a good soldier. You didn't even have to work on the family farm. The people who were captured in battle did that. Athena was the goddess of courage and wisdom. She never got mad quickly or without a reason. She believed in law and order, and you would hope her calm temperament influenced your father, especially when you told him you wrecked the chariot. That's supposed to be a joke. If you were a boy in ancient Greece, in most of the city-states, you would be educated at home until you turned 6 years old. Next, you would start school where they would teach you how to read and write. You would take classes in science and math and enjoy learning how to debate. The intention was to make you into a well-rounded and responsible citizen. Your favorite class would be music, where you learn how to play an instrument like a lyre or a flute, like right here. If you were a girl, you were not considered a citizen. So you would stay home with your mother and grandmother to learn about running a household. You would be taught sewing, cooking, and purchasing things your home would need. If you were lucky, your mother might teach you to read and write. So it sounds like girls in ancient Greece, they didn't really get an education and they might not have known how to read and write. Apollo was the god of music. He was a twin brother of Artemis, the goddess of the hunt. He was often pictured playing a golden lyre. That's like this little thing right here. Most people in ancient Greece wore the same type of clothes. You would probably wear a chiton, which was a long, bleached, white, shirt-like garment that your mother sewed. The peplos was the draped garment that women wore. Men wrapped themselves in a toga. The clothes were rather plain, wool in the winter and airy linen for the summer. Sometimes they used dyes from plants to make the garments brightly colored. Mothers would create geometric designs to identify the town of their origin or their origination, so where they were born. You and your family would love jewelry and wore bracelets, rings, and pins filled with precious stones from countries far away. Traders brought products from Asia and the Middle East to the ports of Greece. Both of your parents wore perfume made from local plants. I have 3 more pages. The Olympics were created in Greece thousands of years ago and held every 4 years. All the city-states sent their athletes to compete and make their town look the best. If you were me and lived in ancient Greece, you would practice every day so that you would win the chariot race or the wrestling match because you would want a poem to be written about your incredible strength. Heracles was the hero of great strength. He was Zeus's son and half god and half human. He was the greatest Greek of the greatest Greek heroes. So that's just the Olympics. They competed and a bunch of people wanted to win. If you might have read about the exploits of Alexander the Great, we're going to read about that next week. He was the king of Macedon, which was part of Greece, and how he conquered his enemies. He never lost a single battle, even when outnumbered. Even today, military schools use his tactics to teach new soldiers. Over 20 cities in the world were named after him. So we're going to learn about him, Alexander the Great. He was a great army commander, and we're going to learn about him. And here's just the last little page. So you see, if you were me, how life in ancient Greece would really be. It would be a whole lot different, wouldn't it be? I think it would be super different. That's the end of our book. I hope you learned a little bit about ancient Greece, more than what our videos show us. And I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.